Are you ready for the divine feminine revolution? Let's get vulnerable and go deep.
Once you get into all of these things that are holding you back, you realize how they've actually permeated every single essence of your life. Last year, I was breaking through a lot of different things that were keeping me stuck. And once I realized the limiting belief that I had, I was like, oh, I'm doing it here and here and here. And it's literally everywhere. And so it makes it hard when you're out here trying to change yourself, but your brain has created all these different rules for you to be able to live by because your brain wants to keep you safe. And so if you're trying to change and your brain is like, oh my God, $1 million, we don't know what that is. So that must be unsafe. You're like, it's not though. Like it could really help me in a lot of ways, but your brain is like, no, girl, we veto that.
It's an old therapyism is that like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you have worthiness in your business, you probably have worthiness in dating or like with family life, with money. But I just had a moment where I was at a women's retreat and I'm going to paint the picture here a little bit. She rented a yacht. We went out on a yacht in Tampa Bay. I'm getting my hot seat coaching on one of those air mattress things in the bay next to a yacht. She's going like, haven't you made $1 million in your business? So just FYI, if you don't know, I have had a private practice for 13 years before. So I'm a psychologist for real. And I was like, yeah, but it took me 13 years. And I'm like on a raft and my body starts like contorting at the thought of millionaire vibes and owning it. And she was like, why are you under owning your authority? And it's like, it feels like it doesn't count because it's a different business. And because it took me 13 years to take it. And so someone swims up and she goes, did you know Megan made $1 million? Let her tell you about it. And so just like had me riff on it. And I was like, here I am literally with a 7-figure coach. I'm like, buy a yacht. And I still like can't get through this little scarcity demon inside my mind.
Yeah, your brain has rules where it's like, Megan, you are not actually a millionaire unless you do it this way. But you're like, but wait, aren't I a millionaire like already? Like at the end of the day? And it's like, but my brain has silly rules to be like, no, we can't own that. We can't.
Like, literally, the evidence is all pointing to I'm literally parked outside a yacht here at this millionaire retreat. Like, why can't I own this? And it was so funny because it was so like Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. Here I am. I've had the power all along. And yet still my mind, yeah, but it doesn't count because of X, Y, and Z. And I think that's what we do to create these weird prisons around us. So give us like the real tea on authenticity, because as soon as it becomes like, whether people say authenticity or vulnerability, like I feel like I've definitely been hearing that as like a buzzword for the past, as long as I've been in the past 7 or 8 years. Like, so how do you do it from maybe the neck down?
Yes. With authenticity, it is what I call now a blank word. And so blank words are like a word that everybody has a different definition to. And so when you say it, it actually is blank because it's not relaying the intended meaning that you have for that word, because everybody else has a different understanding of it, because it's been so overused of just like the eat, pray, love, just be authentic, like just be your authentic self, girl. And it's like, it's not that easy. It is not that easy to just be authentic because, again, your brain trying to keep you safe. And if you haven't been authentic, or if, for example, for me, when I got authentic in my childhood, which everything goes back to childhood, friends. Like, we just got to get over it. Like, our childhoods were all probably collectively messed up. It's fine. We're just going to move on from it. But my childhood, like, my dad would yell at me when I was like being authentic around him. And my authenticity is loud. It is characterized as too much. That is my brand, right? And when my parents, who that triggered them, because that made them be able to see that was not a part of them they were willing to accept. And so then when I showed them that part of themselves existed, they were like, no, we're going to yell at you. So you stop that and you stay in the box that we want for you, because that's what we want. And so now, going back to understand what is my authentic expression, I've realized that I have so many weird rules around when and where and how I can be authentic, where it's like this, like you have to create a sense of safety within yourself first. And this is where the trouble happens, girl. This is where we get on the struggle bus, all right? Because we've set up this group of friends and this family that we have, and they only know the version of yourself that you are today, right? And so let's say that you're trying to work on being more confident, like you're trying to use your voice more, right? So let's say that you're trying to do that around your friends or your family or your partner who don't know this version of yourself. They may be like, what's going on with you? Like, who are you? Like, that's not who we know.
What's gotten into her? She thinks she's all that, right?
Yeah, like they will try to put you back into your place, and your place is their place, right? Because here's the thing, is that once you start to become authentic, these people around you will try to keep you to the version that they have been exposed of to you. And then what happens is you start to feel crazy because you are now starting to be authentic, but everyone around you is gaslighting you into being this person of yourself. And here's why they do that, is because they are afraid of losing you. And so that triggers their safety when they see you trying to be authentic in yourself. That triggers them because they're like, oh, wait, who are you? I don't know you anymore. If I don't know you anymore, that means something about me as a person. And so then I don't want to take that accountability and that blame. So I reflect it back to you because then I don't have to deal with it. Right. And so then that makes you get stuck in these cycles of you wanting to change, but not actually changing, where it feels like a roller coaster ride, where it feels like you go up, and you like feel like you're getting there and then you crash and then you go back up and then you crash. And you keep doing this over and over again. And it feels crazy making. Okay. I stayed in that crazy making for 30 years. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck in that. And for them, what I would suggest is that you need to break out of the cycle that you are in. And for me, I was single at the time when I was like starting to go through this authentic journey. And so I was like, if I go on dates as this new version of myself that I'm wanting to put out there, they're not going to know the previous version of myself. They're not going to have any frame of reference for me. And so they're not going to have any expectations of me going into this, obviously. And so they're going to meet the version of me that I present to them. So then I was in the car. I created a mantra first, which was, I have fun no matter where I go.
I love that.
And that also released expectations for me to have to be this version, like this person that's dateable. And it relieved that for me where I could just go in there and have fun. And sometimes I would do tapping here, like to give it some help. And I would even talk through myself where it's like, even though I'm feeling like hot mess magic, not really the magic today, I'm feeling like a hot mess express struggle bus, I'm still going to go in here and have a fun time. I'm still going to go in here and be confident. Like it doesn't matter. And so it's figuring out what is the parts of you that you want to embody, because they're different than anybody else. And that's why you're so special. You are the only version of yourself that's ever going to exist in all of the lifetimes ever. Okay. So if that's not special enough for you, then girl, like, what are we doing here? Like that's special AF, right?
I love that you took us through that process.
And so a lot of these emotions that like we're scared of, which are actually the key to unlocking our authenticity. And so that means the She-Hulk angry, I'm about to flip a table, I'm mad. And also the fully joy Muppet version of myself that's just like a little smiley, bouncing around little person. And all of those can exist, and all of those are fine because we live in a patriarchy. Everything has to be boxed in order for it to fit within the system, right? And so that means that we are constantly on duty to try to box ourselves so that we can find where we live in the boxes. When what actually it is like trying to accept all of the boxes that you have and not just showcasing the perfect boxes, the pretty boxes, the boxes that you feel like people want to see, because that's actually what people don't care about.
Yeah, and that's the vanilla, right?
They want to see the ugly ones. They want to see the messy
white
ones.
Girl authenticity we're trying to get away from, right?
Because it's not just about you. It's about everybody you want to help in your business. It's about creating the worldview that your brand exists within, right? Because a brand is actually just creating a world for somebody to escape into. And so you are creating a brand, And that also has all these values associated with it and all these different things that you want people to also feel loved and accepted within. And so it's finding that within yourself and then figuring out how do you want to be able to create that into the world that you're building, that like people want to join in on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love that part of your brand is definitely like telling it like it is, which I think is just like so refreshing to hear in this day and age.
My brand is about teaching women how to play big and how to take up more space in their life and in their business and in the world so that more women can have more power in the world. And through that is through using your voice, which is the whole point of your podcast, is helping women to be able to use their voice.
Thanks for listening to the Divine Feminine Revolution podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Want to keep the conversation flowing? Find us on Facebook at the Divine Feminine Revolution Facebook group, where revolutionary women gather to listen to their hearts, monetize their gifts, and change the world.